Have you ever found yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling in the quiet dark, wondering why sleep suddenly slipped away? You're not alone. This early wake-up is surprisingly common among older adults, and it's not just a random habit or simply a part of aging. In this video, we're diving into 5 powerful reasons why waking up around 3 a.m. becomes more frequent as we age, and what those early hours might actually be trying to tell you. Each reason points to something deeper about your body, your health, and your life experience. By the end, you might just see your sleep and yourself in a whole new light. These aren't surface-level theories. They're grounded in real physiology, psychology, and the subtle rhythms of aging that many people don't even realize are at play. We'll explore how hormones, sleep patterns, physical health, and even emotional and social shifts influence your nights. And we'll do it with honesty, encouragement, and deep respect for the journey you've lived so far. So if you've ever woken up at 3 a.m. and wondered, why now? You're in the right place. Stay with us until the end. What you discover may not only help you sleep more soundly, but better understand and honor what your body is going through. Let's begin. Reason number 1: reduced melatonin production. One of the clearest reasons older adults wake in the middle of the night, often around 3 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin levels as we age. Melatonin is a hormone responsible for regulating our sleep-wake cycle, often called our internal clock. It helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. In your younger years, your body likely produced a steady stream of melatonin, letting you drift into deep, uninterrupted rest. But as time goes on, your body produces less of it, and that change can have a real impact on your sleep quality. You may still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a full day. But come the early morning hours, 2, 3, sometimes 4 a.m., your melatonin levels may drop too low to keep you in deep sleep. You might wake up for no apparent reason, not because of noise or a dream, but because your brain is quietly shifting back toward wakefulness. This doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It simply means your body is adjusting, just as it's meant to. With age, even your sleep environment can make things harder. Small amounts of light, from a street lamp, a blinking clock, or hallway lighting, can further suppress melatonin production. As we age, our sensitivity to these environmental cues increases, making 3 a.m. wake-ups feel even more frustrating. Take Harold, for example. At 72, he always considered himself a good sleeper. But lately, he's been waking up around 3:15 a.m. most nights. He's not worried or stressed, just fully alert. Once he learned that his melatonin levels were naturally declining, he stopped blaming himself and made a few simple changes. He darkened his bedroom, avoided screens before bed, and added a short evening walk to help reset his internal rhythm. And while he still wakes up early from time to time, Harold now works with his body instead of against it. That shift in mindset, from frustration to understanding, can be a game changer. Once you realize your early waking isn't a flaw, but a natural chemical shift, you can make supportive choices instead of resenting your body. That's the power of awareness. Reason number 2: shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another common cause of 3 a.m. wake-ups is a natural shift in your body's internal clock, something known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythms tend to move forward. That means we may start feeling sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You might catch yourself nodding off during a movie or waking at dawn without an alarm, even when you'd prefer to sleep longer. This shift isn't just habit, it's biological, and it tends to grow stronger with each passing year. When we're younger, our sleep-wake cycle aligns more closely with the sun, later nights and later mornings. But over time, your internal clock resets. You may find yourself falling asleep by 9 p.m. or even earlier, which means your body completes its rest cycle by the early morning hours. That's why 3 a.m. might feel like wake-up time, even if it's still pitch black outside. This doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It simply means your schedule is shifting. Imagine your internal clock ticking forward, gently, gradually, season after season. While not harmful, this shift can feel frustrating if your lifestyle, family obligations, or preferences don't match up. There's also an emotional layer. Many older adults live in quieter homes and have less external structure. Without work, social activities, or the busy noise of family life, the body winds down sooner. No longer surrounded by evening stimulation, your brain begins its nightly shutdown earlier than before. Meet Charles. He's 68, retired, and typically eats dinner around 5:30 p.m. After a bit of television, he's often asleep by 9 p.m. By 3 a.m., his body feels fully rested and naturally wakes him up. At first, he assumed it was insomnia. But once he learned about advanced sleep phase, he realized there was nothing wrong. His schedule had simply shifted. Charles made a few easy tweaks. He started reading in bright light during the evening, taking a short walk after dinner, and staying up a little later by chatting with his daughter. These small cues helped delay his sleep window, aligning his rest with a more familiar wake-up time. The result? Fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups and a better sense of flow in his day. This shift is incredibly common, but rarely talked about. When you understand it, you can let go of the guilt and confusion. You can work with your body instead of against it. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m. and feel like you've already had a full night's rest, your body may just be following a new schedule. And with that knowledge, you can begin to shape your habits in a way that better supports your sleep and well-being. If you're still watching and found these insights helpful, drop a number 2 in the comments to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue to create thoughtful, empowering content that informs and inspires. Now, let's move on to the next reason. Number 3, physical discomfort and health-related interruptions. Another common reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to surface during the quiet hours of the night. As we get older, the chances of dealing with chronic conditions or subtle health problems increase, and many of these conditions have a way of disrupting sleep without sounding loud alarms. They creep in quietly, like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back. And that's often enough to bring you out of a restful state right in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for example, can make lying in the same position for hours uncomfortable. You may not notice the discomfort when you first fall asleep, but after several hours of stillness, those aches can build up enough to nudge you awake. For others, nighttime acid reflux may stir them from sleep, especially if they've eaten dinner too late or reclined too soon after eating. Even something as seemingly simple as dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a slight change in room temperature can trigger a light awakening around the early morning hours, when your body's defenses are already more sensitive and less forgiving than they used to be. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake up at 3 a.m. is the need to urinate. As we age, the bladder becomes less elastic, and the urge to relieve it can come on faster and more frequently. You might not feel it during the day when distractions keep your mind occupied, but at 3 a.m., in a dark and quiet room, that sensation becomes impossible to ignore. And once you get up and move around, even if it's just to the bathroom, your body may have already shifted from deep rest to light alertness, making it harder to return to sleep. There's also the issue of medications, which many older adults take regularly for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management. These medications often come with side effects like frequent urination, changes in body temperature, or increased sensitivity to noise or light that can silently affect sleep. You may not even realize the connection between your medicine and your sleep pattern until someone points it out, or you begin tracking your habits more closely. Take Eleanor, for instance, a 76-year-old woman who has always been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she started waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. After months of thinking it was just aging, she spoke with her doctor and discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels and increasing her nighttime trips to the bathroom. With her doctor's help, she adjusted the timing of her dosage, added a few lifestyle changes, and now wakes up less frequently and returns to sleep more easily when she does. The important thing to remember here is that physical wake-ups don't mean your body is failing. They're actually signs that your body is still doing its job. It's responding, alerting, adjusting. These signals can guide you toward better care, more informed choices, and a deeper sense of trust in your own awareness. Waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, but it can also be a quiet nudge to tune in, check in, and make small changes that support better health and deeper rest. Number 4, lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful but often overlooked reason older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. lies in long-standing daily habits, small routines and choices that, over time, quietly reshape your internal rhythm. Many older adults naturally begin eating dinner earlier, winding down sooner in the evening, and experiencing less physical activity during the day. These seemingly minor adjustments accumulate and can signal to the body that the night should begin earlier, which inevitably pushes the wake-up time earlier too. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer receives the same external cues it once relied on, like commuting, running errands, or engaging in physically or mentally stimulating tasks. Without those cues, the body's sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation can cause your brain to produce melatonin earlier, inviting sleep before you've even realized the clock has struck 9 p.m. And once you're asleep earlier, your body simply finishes its rest earlier, waking up in those still pre-dawn hours, often right around 3 a.m. There's also a subtle relationship between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes lead to a dip in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if there's no light snack before bed. That dip may not feel like hunger, but it can still rouse the body from sleep. Similarly, caffeine consumed even in the early afternoon can linger in your system, especially as the metabolism slows with age, subtly lightening your sleep and making you more susceptible to waking up at any disturbance. For someone like Walter, who's 74 and recently retired, these changes crept in gradually. His days became less structured and his evenings more relaxed. He found himself having supper at 5 p.m., falling asleep in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without realizing it, his entire routine had shifted a few hours earlier. Before long, he began waking up around 3 a.m., puzzled by why he was wide awake before the birds even started singing. After reflecting on his routine, Walter began making small adjustments, adding a short walk in the afternoon, reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These changes helped push his natural sleep window just a bit later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that aligned more closely with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals, telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. As those signals weaken or shift, the internal body clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. But by noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it's possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disrupted. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes, waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried by the busyness of daily life can start to surface in the quiet of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is still and distractions are few, often become the stage where unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You may find yourself lying awake not because of noise or pain, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't realize were still with you. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It can feel like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when not actively engaged, often reaches backward, into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And because the body's no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there's space for those thoughts to echo a little louder. It's also important to recognize that loneliness can play a role here. For many older adults, social circles shrink with time. Children move away, friends become busy, and routines change. The daytime might be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings quiet, and with it, an awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it shows up simply as a desire for connection or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who's 80 and widowed. During the day, she keeps busy tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts returning to moments she shared with her late husband or to worries she keeps tucked away during the daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but over time, she came to understand that her early waking wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart, asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she sometimes writes down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember. It asks the questions it needs to ask. And sometimes it does all of that at 3 a.m. when the world is silent. But that's not a flaw. It's a reflection of depth. If you find yourself waking in the stillness and feeling reflective, it could mean there's wisdom within you, ready to be seen and acknowledged. You've lived through joy, loss, love, and change. Those experiences don't just live in your memory. They shape who you are. Instead of treating these early wake-ups as problems to solve, try meeting them with curiosity and compassion. What is your mind reaching for? What needs to be expressed? What part of you is quietly asking for grace? Sometimes, the most healing rest comes not from pushing those moments away, but from welcoming them. And through that simple act of honoring your thoughts and feelings, you may discover not only deeper sleep, but a deeper connection to yourself. Final thoughts. As we close, take a quiet moment to reflect. What stood out most to you? Was it your shifting sleep cycle, subtle changes in your health, or something more emotional, a rhythm that only becomes clear in the quiet of early morning? Each of the 5 reasons we've explored offers a new perspective. None of them suggest something is wrong. On the contrary, they show how intelligently your body and mind continue to work, adjust, and evolve with time. There's power in listening to what your body is trying to tell you, especially in those soft, pre-dawn hours. Instead of seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as disruptions, you might begin to see them as messages, gentle reminders to tune in to your needs, habits, and heart. You're not alone in this. Many others are navigating the same questions. And with understanding comes strength, the kind of strength that leads to small, meaningful changes in how you rest, how you care for yourself, and how you move through each day. If anything in this video felt familiar or resonated with you, know this: you're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes the opportunity to rest more purposefully, to treat yourself with greater gentleness, and to wake each day with more peace and clarity. Thank you for spending this time with us. We'd love to hear from you. Share one thing that stood out to you today, and how you might carry it forward in your life. Your thoughts and insights truly matter, and reading them encourages and inspires us. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support means the world to us and allows us to continue creating thoughtful, empowering content. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.